Yes, I was molested for years. It was just constant for years, tortured.
Because the devil is a master manipulator. He has a strategic demonic assignment against every believer's life.
There is definitely a link to abuse and trauma and sin when it comes to diseases, diabetes.
Both your brothers were murdered?
With what you're playing in The Last Evangelist, I think it really paints a picture of where we're headed. I think some of the stuff that you portray in that particular series is absolutely some of the stuff we're going to see in the near future.
Also, if you want to see Last Evangelist, the episode, it's exclusively episode 1 on davidheavener.tv. John, your past, I mean, looking at you, a successful guy, and you're really on fire for God, a person wouldn't think that you came from I guess you could say a sub-poverty background. Both your brothers were murdered, and tell me about, what was that all about?
Yeah, so I like that term, by the way, sub-poverty, because I was definitely way below the poverty line, especially as someone growing up in the United States of America. So yeah, I had my mom was just a hardworking single mom. She was a teenage girl with 2 babies. My older brother, she had me when she was a teenager, and he was already born. So we were both teenage born babies. Yeah. And we grew up in the inner city. It's called the Bottoms of Columbus, Ohio. If anybody's familiar with that area, Sullivan Avenue. It's a kill zone. It's a kill zone. Many of my friends were murdered. Both of my brothers were murdered. We grew up hard. My mom, though, was a hardworking girl, and she just refused to go on government assistance. I wish she would have, because those food stamps would have been really handy so we could actually have some normal food. But at my house, we ate mush. And those of you that don't know what mush is, it's cornmeal. It's like what they feed those African kids, and we had no sugar, and not a good tasting breakfast, let me tell you. So we ate plain spaghetti. I didn't see spaghetti sauce till I was in 8th grade. So we grew up poor. We grew up poor. I was delivering papers 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning when I was 9 years old. By the time I was in high school, I worked 10 at night till 6 in the morning in a foundry grinding iron. It was hard. It was a brutal, very challenging, difficult way to grow up. Yeah. But by the grace of God, I found Jesus at a young age. No one in my family was a Christian. I used to actually go myself as a little boy. I'd get on that Baptist church bus, and I was seeking after the Lord, but I had a supernatural experience with the Lord at my own home.
Wow. How old were you then, John?
I was 11 years old. 11 years old.
Wow.
So I was 11 years old.
God does that, doesn't he? We can't explain it, but he chooses us, right?
No.
Especially at a young age. So I'm going to come back to that, but before we do, I'd like to talk to your wife a moment, Chelsea. And Chelsea, I know this is sensitive, and you can go as far as you'd like. But you were a little girl, and you were molested and tortured as a child.
Yeah. Yes. And actually, the really good thing is, when you fully healed from something, when it's really not sensitive to talk about anymore. So I love talking about this, because the reality is it sets so many people free. And I think it's really important for your audience, because no matter what happens to us in life, when we're saved, the blood of Jesus washes all that away. However, it's still up to us to seek our healing in our mind and our body. And I think that is where most people miss it. And so, yes, I was molested for years. It was just constant for years, tortured, lots of different ways.
From the age of how old?
About 5 to almost 11 and a half.
Okay. So when you said tortured, without getting into details, I'm trying to imagine what does that mean? I mean, I know what tortured means, but what?
Just an example would be held down with Clorox bleach poured on private areas, things like that.
Yeah. Okay. And did this come from your immediate family? Was this, was this a child abuse within the family?
Yeah. And most is, by the way. So most child abuse is, and statistically, the stats are 1 in 4 women. I believe it's more than that. That's really just what's reported.
Right.
But the beautiful part is it's kind of like what you talked about. Your, theory of if sin lives in the body. So it's interesting because when you were saying that, I was thinking of, although I was saved, I had to go about my own healing and get my own healing because I knew through all my research that this was cellular and the way my brain was operating, because I also was exposed to pornography during those years, very young, about 8 years old. And my brain was wired this way. So I needed to find out, okay, Lord, I need my own healing for my mind and my body. And the interesting thing is, as I was doing inner healing, although I was saved, so I could not be possessed, it's interesting to me how I would have literally a physical change when something was lifted off of me. So then what is that? So it's interesting that you bring that up, because is that sin leaving your body? I mean, that's an interesting theory. So, but I could tell you myself, along with many other people I've talked to have something physical happen to them when they heal from something. Most of our clients that have something to heal from traumatically that happened to them, or a sin, by the way, that they did through forgiveness or whatever means of healing, they have a physical manifestation of that. It leaves their body. It changes at a cellular level.
Absolutely. And how old were you, Chelsea, when you found those? How did God get you out of this? What was, we're running up against a break here, but what happened?
Yeah, well, my family, my mom was raised Catholic, so she got kicked out of the church when she divorced my father, who was abusive, alcoholic. So she just stopped going. And thankfully, when I was about a teenager, I was dating a boy whose mom was a pastor. And so I started going to church with them, and that's how I got saved. Now, the grace of God got me through everything I went through. And I just knew, after I got saved, I knew he was always there with me in those traumatic events. I just never knew him because I never really heard of who God was. But once I got saved, I knew he was always with me. But it's really important that the listeners understand that, it really is a partnership with God to go after your healing in your mind and your body as well, because your spirit is cleansed, but there are 2 different components there. And this is what we help people with, is overcoming that. That's why most people who have been abused are overweight. I mean, it's interesting when you follow all these stats. There is definitely a link to abuse and trauma and sin when it comes to diseases, diabetes. I mean, it's very fascinating. There's lots of studies out there that prove that.
Yeah, absolutely. John, before we take a break, I want to ask you, Chelsea talked about, and I agree because I went through it. I was saved, and you mentioned this. I was saved. My spirit was renewed. But I still had the stench in my cells. At that time, I didn't know cells of my sin, of things that I inherited and things I had practiced through my life, abuse and alcohol and stuff like that. But there came a time where God spoke to me. He says, now I'm going to heal you. And he didn't do it overnight. He healed me through a process of education, of meeting people like yourself, of reading books, of studying, even going to a Christian therapist. And then I was delivered. Is this have any merit what I'm saying? Do you guys agree with this?
Well, absolutely. And let me just tie something together here. So a lot of Christians, they know they need healing. They know they need healing, but they literally lack even the physical capacity. They lack the physical capacity. It's like the man in the Bible that said, Lord, when the water moves, I can't get in. I don't have the physical capacity to do what these other people are doing to get their healing. So the devil is a genius. The devil is a genius. People that say the devil's stupid are ignorant, because the devil is a master manipulator. He has a strategic demonic assignment against every believer's life. He doesn't care if Christians go to heaven. He doesn't care. He wants you to go early, and he wants you to be miserable on the way there.
Right.
He wants to take away your destiny and your influence and your impact.
Right.
So what he does is he lets that sickness reside in your body. Even our actual brain, how God made us. If we're just 10% dehydrated, we lose half our neurotransmitter brain synapses activity. So it means we have half the mental power to even take those steps to get us healed. So
absolutely. I tell people, I go, you know, if the devil can't get you into hell, the second best thing is make you miserable going to heaven.
In these last days, people will worship false gods. As the Antichrist arises, Christians will be persecuted. David Heavener Investigates is proud to bring you End Times Investigations, a new DVD series containing over 8 hours of interviews, commentaries, and teaching on Illuminati and the New World Order, Satanism, miracles and healings, the Antichrist, and one world religion.
Hi, I'm David Heavener, and I'm proud to bring you this brand new DVD collection, End Times Investigations.
David reveals how the media is working hand in hand with the Antichrist system. Order now and receive this special DVD collection. Text bonus to 41444 or davidheavener.tv/order. Call toll free 844-806-0006. Text bonus to 41444 or davidheavener.tv/order. Call toll free 844-806-0006.
We have the brand new DVD of Last Evangelist. You can get it right now. It's limited collector's edition. It's got the new episode on it, along with banned videos with me and Michael Lake and Lisa Havens, Sheila Lazinski, and things that were just taken down because they didn't like them. But you get all this right now if you call 844-806-0006 or go text the word chosen to 91999 or go to davidheavener.tv/order. If you'd like to get involved with the ministry and be a supporter, text the word chosen to 91999. We sure could use your help. And please don't forget my new books that are out, True Power and End Times Investigation. And you can get all this stuff there at davidheavener.tv/order. Don't forget to sign up to davidheavener.tv.